All right, let's do a little Indiana-Miami preview. Natty coming up on Monday. I know Oregon fans, it's probably tough to even listen to a Natty preview that doesn't involve you in it because it felt like not long ago you were going to be right there in the national title game. But Indiana, alas, certainly deserving, blows out Oregon 56-22 in the semis. You know, there's a lot of different ways to look at this game. The first thing that sticks out to me is that Miami's playing in their home stadium. I don't think in the history of the sport that's ever happened where a team plays a national title game in their home stadium. That's low-key a pretty big advantage. Like, I know it's 30 minutes from campus, but dude, you're playing in your home locker room, your home stadium, like all your walkthroughs and everything, you know exactly where the area is at. Like you're not traveling halfway across the country. That's low key like a pretty big advantage that Miami has. Not to mention, and Indiana travels extremely well, largest alumni base in the country. I've heard that stat 9,000 times in the last week. But not to mention, Miami's fan base is starving for this. Miami hasn't, like, if we can keep it 100, Miami really hasn't done jack shit in like 25 years of college football. They have notoriously never won an ACC title, including this year when they weren't even good enough to play in the ACC championship game. Didn't even qualify for the game. But then they got hot, and that defense, man, like Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor, it has that Nick Fairley vibe from that Auburn team in 2010 where it's like you're not sure about everything else other than obviously Cam Newton back then. It was one of the all-time greats, single season. But, like, dude, these guys just blow a game up. Now, I think the quick passing game of Trinidad, a.k.a. Trinidad Chambliss, Pete Golding, get over here, Trinidad. That actually kind of worked pretty damn well. They scored quite a bit. It's just that Miami possessed the ball well with that pro-style approach with Carson Beck and Mark Fletcher and Malachi Toney, and that pro-style approach where you just kind of hold the ball and keep it away from the other team, that works really well. There's a reason that NFL coaches love to do that. But I just I think that those guys can really wreck a game. They can bottle up the running game. Indiana's run game is what it prides itself on. Sig says that out loud in press conferences. They run the ball like 60% of the time. Dude, Mendoza only threw the ball 20 times against Oregon for 177 yards. He was spectacular, deadly accurate, 17 of 20. You know, he's got more touchdown passes than incompletions in the playoff right now. He's got 8 touchdown passes and 5 incompletions, which is pretty wild. So he also threw for, I think, under 200 yards against Alabama, but he was surgical and spectacular. It's not about the raw stats with Mendoza. It's his insane accuracy when it's needed most, and he just always delivers. That's really tough to deny and tough to beat. So I certainly would predict Indiana to win this game, but I'll talk about a couple other things. Carson Beck's been really good lately. He only has, I think, 2 interceptions in his last 7 games, and I get that their offense wasn't doing much against A&M, to put it lightly, but they still won the game. And then they when they needed it most, Beck delivered against Ole Miss, where they were down 27-24 late after Trinidad puts together that great drive and they get the 2-point conversion. And then Beck leads them down the field, and kind of perfectly, they time it out so that they only give Trinidad like 30 seconds left, more or less. He was nails in that game, 5th year, 6th year senior. So yeah, I mean, I think Beck's a big factor in this game, but I don't think it'll be, I mean, you never know, but everyone kind of likes to say, oh, classic Carson Beck, here comes a 3-pick game. I think he could play great in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. Indiana's defense is really good. It's probably the most underrated part about their team. Like, I don't know if it's underrated anymore after seeing what they did to Dante Moore last game, but it's really good, man. D'Angelo Pons, Lewis Moore, Aiden Fisher, Elijah Hardy, like all these guys, and that's with Haley and Wyatt out, the D linemen. I really like this Indiana team. I really do. I still think it's crazy that they've just been blowing teams out like this. Like, I don't think you have to overthink this one. I think Indiana is going to cover the 8.5. But Miami does have the recipe of being able to hold the ball and blow the game up with those elite D linemen. I mean, Cristobal's kind of got the recipe. If you're an Oregon fan, like, how would you feel if Cristobal won the title? That'd probably hurt. That'd probably hurt quite a bit. if Cristobal turned around and won the Natty with Miami, the same school that he spurned you for, obviously going home to his alma mater, but he's doing a great job there, man. He's doing a great job. He kind of had the jobs not finished mindset and mentality and way of carrying himself after the semifinal. Like, he didn't look very happy. He was basically like, yeah, we got one more. Let's stay locked in. So, I mean, I think just thinking about the game out loud, how it'll go, it's tough for me to not pick Indiana, dude. Everything they do is surgical. It's precise. Mendoza's just so accurate. Like, dude, there were out routes against Oregon, Brandon Finney, Oregon's best DB, where there was like 3 inches to put the ball. It's not like these guys were running wide open, and Mendoza just put it right there. Elijah Surratt, the back shoulder throw that famously burned Oregon at Autzen for the game-winning touchdown, and they scored a touchdown on it in the Big Ten title game against Ohio State. Like, they ran it against Oregon this time around, but Oregon was ready. Like, Iffy and Flowers and all those dudes were right there, pinned to Surratt, and Surratt still with like one hand would turn around and catch it while getting jacked up. Like, it was just a perfect game. There's like no defending a perfect pass, as they say, man. That's what Yogi Roth came on and told me on the pod a couple weeks ago. You just can't defend a perfect pass. When I was asking him, like, how does Indiana's passing game have so much success against everyone? And he was basically like, dude, you can't defend a perfect pass. And so Mendoza's just been that good, man. I think you just tip your cap to Mendoza. Yeah, I mean, as a result, I think I'd have a really tough time picking against Indiana in this game. Spread's 8.5. My early prediction is Indiana wins 34-17 and goes on to win the Natty. Cignetti's just mastered that portal, man. He has mastered acquiring the veteran QB from the portal. Now Miami obviously has a veteran QB in Carson Beck, who's been in college forever. But I think that both these teams are well coached. They both have great veteran QBs, which is clutch. Miami's D-line, I think, is their best chance to win the game. Like, if they totally wreck the game, totally bottle up Indiana's run, and hit Mendoza a bunch. I mean, Ohio State kind of did that. Ohio State limited Indiana's running game and absolutely bone-crushed Mendoza a couple times. That first hit of the game was wild, where his brother had to come in as the backup because he has the wind knocked out of him. Like, dude, Ohio State, their defense was nasty in that game. They played them really, 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 really well. And I think Miami can play just as well on defense. But Indiana's just hot right now. I can't imagine what the confidence level is like for Mendoza doing what he did to Oregon and what he did to Alabama. My gosh. So yeah, I'll take Indiana 34-17. They win and they cover, and they become the first team ever to win 16 games in a season in college football history.